Okay, this is how to use the dual films. First off, we're going to file this nail very quickly. I don't know if it picks up, but there's a fill line here. It's the way these nails are made. So you need to blend your fill line in. You can use the line out to blend in and make it easier to use on fill lines because it's a plastic nail. It doesn't take a lot to blend it in, but it's the same with your seam lines. You really have to, as you know, blend them in, otherwise you get shadows and it shows up through the acrylic. I'll be using natural tips today, so it'll give you a natural looking nail, but you can use the white tips, clear tips, whatever. If you're going to use white tips, then you won't blend in your seam line. Okay, this nail's a little long, so not that you'd use a drill on a natural nail, but just to save some time, because it's plastic and fake. I'm going to use a drill. On a natural nail, you would trim it up with your nail clippers and then file it. So once you're happy with that, and there is no shine or file lines left on the nails, you would proceed to the next part of your prep, which is dusting off the dust. Take that sharp edge off, and then you would proceed to your Nail Pure Plus. Now you want to do this twice, each time using on 10 fingers. So you go once, make sure you really rub it in. It will remove little bits of staining on nails and everything. It'll take away all your dust and impurities, and it leaves a protective layer on the nail bed. Because this is for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to use the same. As you can see, wet, gone chalky white. So you wait until they're chalky white, and then you proceed again with the Nail Pure Plus, making sure you really rub it into the nail surface. Okay, oops, wrong side for my bin. Now, once dry, because that primer isn't as good as I'd like it to be, you want to, without getting the primer up into the cuticle on the skin, prime twice, and you need to let it go matte in between applications. Make sure you get the whole nail bed, because the primer as well as the Nail Pure Plus will actually help with adhesion. Now, because I'm on a time schedule, that's a little bit wetter than I'd normally like it to put a second application on, but I'm going to do it. Now, this nail I've already put a tip on and I've blended in the seam line, so I'm just going to do another one very quickly. I'll do. Now, I can't use the same glue as I gave you, so on these plastic ones it melts it and causes all sorts of drama, but it's the same thing. Wipe the well of the tip full of glue, put it at a 45-degree angle and rock it back so the glue spreads up and you don't get any air bubbles. Now, on the bottled glue, it says not only do you put it in the well of the tip, but you actually put it on the nail. I strongly recommend that you don't put it on the well of the nail, only because, on the nail and just on the well of the tip. If you put it on the nail and the well and do it, you've got so much glue flowing around everywhere. It takes forever to dry, and that's just really not a good thing. You don't want to be standing there forever holding a nail so it dries. I'm just going to check this tip is okay. It certainly is. I'm going to put on my tip blender, and you just want it along that seam line while I cut and shape the nail so it has some time to dry. I'm just taking normal clippers. You're going to go to half the nail and cut, and then you're not going to go quite to the next cut so it's just joined, so you can twist it so your nail doesn't fly everywhere and hit people in the eyes and all that stuff. And Nick's laughing at me. Okay, so shaping the tip. This one I'm going to make a squoval. I'm just going to round the corners of the squared nail. Easiest way to get a squared nail is hold your file at this particular angle and it squares it, and if there are different angles for the oval and that, but I don't have time to sort of go into that at the moment. I think I've only got 20 minutes on my camera. So all I'm doing now is filing the edge. Do not file the nail bed. It's a big no-no. You can file the nail bed if you've got a little bit of excess glue there, because you need to take off the shine off the glue or things won't stick. You also need to file the tip itself and take the shine off it. Once you're happy that you've blended it in and you're not going to get shadows underneath, you dust it. Dust them all, because we've got 3 here for you. And we're going to get a primer again. We're going to lay a layer of primer just before the tip. Primer on tips can cause yellowing, so you don't really want it on your tip. And we'll do our second one. I like to do it so when I'm putting on my acrylic, the nail is wet on that second coat. So I'm going to take my brush, my powder, my orange sticks are ready. I'm going to quickly have a look and see what numbers correspond to the end of the nail form. I'll take the air bubbles out of my brush, wipe it. I'm going to take 3 strokes in the powder and place my bead. Wipe my brush, and I'm going to do 3 strokes in the powder again and place my second bead, making sure that the wells of the form all the way up the sides have the same amount of product as in the middle. Turn my form over, line it up on the nail, making sure that it's square on the nail, putting my thumb there, applying some pressure, and I can now start wiping away the excess acrylic. Be careful when you come to this front part that you do not wipe the acrylic back under the nail. It does happen, and it is an easy fix. Just put this bit here on your drill and you can get under there without hurting the girls and taking it off. Now that should be fine. Yep, it's set enough that I don't need to hold it anymore, and I can move on to my next nail. The next nail I've just set up that I'm going to put an extension on it as a sculpture with no tip. So 3 times in my powder, filling up the jewel form, making sure that I'm not putting bubbles in it, wiping my brush. Again, 3 strokes in my powder because I'm making medium balls. I could embarrass Nick here and say, do you have medium balls, mate? But I don't think he's going to answer us.
I have large balls.
Well, there you go, he answered us. Okay, so I've got that there. Now this time I'm not going to wipe the excess acrylic, or maybe I am, just that little bit there, to straighten it up a little bit on the free edge, because I've made a nail extension. So I've put my thumb down this time a little bit too close to stuff. Sort of want the nail holding stuff, or the finger holding things in the middle of the nail, so you can get around with the cuticle stick and wipe the excess away.
You got 5 minutes left.
Yep, that's all I need, mate. So last one. Again, 3 strokes in the powder. Line him up, slow it down. Line him up with the nail, making sure that it's not over one side too much. Now, I have filed these forms. They are actually too big for this nail, and I have cut them down on their sides, so I get correct coverage on the tips, because the jewel forms seem to be narrower as they go up the nail. Don't ask me, it's just why. It's just what these particular ones do. I find they don't give you total coverage. So I'm just still cleaning up excess acrylic. Now I've noticed there that it still needs to be held. Otherwise I'm going to have an issue with an air pocket. And that's the best thing about this technique, it is so forgiving. Okay, just take the acrylic off my finger. This one should be done. So you just twist and it pops off. So run your file down the sides. And across your free edge. Now this one has a few little air bubbles. I will show you quickly with the drill. We might have to go to a second 20 minutes just how you could solve that issue if you really wanted to. But it gives you a quick tutorial on the drill. This one, same thing, just twist it. If it's not ready, it won't come, and this one's not really quite ready. So again, same thing. They're great, they're not overly thick. File this one. Maybe a little bit too long. And again, you could fix that issue with your drill. So that's nail number 2. And there's no air pockets on that one. Nail number 3. Saved it, no air pockets or bubbles in the acrylic on that one. Quick file, and we're all done. Turn them over, have a look, make sure there's no big globules of acrylic here at the base, in here at the base of the nail, which there isn't. There's a little bit here on the side of this one, where you could go in with a file, or again you could use this little drill here and you could take that away, but I'm not going to bother. As you can see, they're the right thickness, they're not too thick, they're not too thin. So you drill, it's an eye formation, you go down your eye, you go around your bottom, you go down your side, back down the other side, and across.
Got a minute.
So I think I got the most of those bubbles out. So then you go to your 180, give it a light fire with that. Get your buffer block and your buffer. Buff it. This is the next step. You can put acrylic, a cuticle oil down and then buff, but I am just going to buff as is. And then, where'd it go? I'm just getting my clear nail. So we'll just catch up. I'm here, I'm ready to buff. I can use acrylic oil, cuticle oil, or I can just buff it with the buffer, which that's what I'm going to do. And as you can see, I've gotten all but there's a tiniest little bit of air bubble there. Now the nail's still really strong. If you were worried, you could put a little bit of acrylic. I'm not. They're nice and thick. Just make sure you tidy up your sides a little bit better than what I did. So your last step, once you've filed those edges, made sure there's no bits of excess acrylic everywhere, and you're happy with your nails and the way they look, it's to dust them off. You can wipe them down with the Nail Pure, not the Nail Pure Plus, the Cleanse. I don't tend to use it on the acrylic because I think it leaves muted shine. And this is just normal standard OPI top coat, nothing special. As you can see on the other two that I haven't buffed, I don't really need top coat at all, but I'm going to put it on anyway just to seal the acrylic. And I also recommend sealing underneath the nails, which I will do right now. So we've got that on. We're going to turn them over. Normally I use the Glaze and Go to do this, so whether it's the Glaze and Go or just standard top coat, well, I know it looks all shiny and glossy and great. Just the bit of top coat gives the acrylic a little bit more protection from scratches and things like that. So, but underneath is where all that muted acrylic is, so I just like to, and it's recommended that you seal underneath. You can't see it on the top. Okay, the water decals. I'll just do one very quickly and just cut it out to the size that you want it. Drop it in your water. You can do 2 at a time. They don't take very long at all. Sorry about the head. And it just brushed off into my finger. Well, your base coat is still tacky. Just pop it on. Use your finger to pat off any moisture. And then grab this one, so I'll do it towards the camera so you can see it. It should just slide off just like that, and then again same thing, pop him on the nail, take off any moisture, and then all you're going to do, you could put a few rhinestones around them to bring them out, and that but that would mean the top coat needs to be a bit wetter, and then you'd seal it again with top coat to just secure them. But I'm just going to put a really nice layer of top coat on them. And your jewel forms with nail decals are all complete.
Let's see, it won't focus.
Oh, hang on.
Stuff just blows out.
Oops.
Yeah, whatever.
Did you get them? Not blurry?
No, they're blurry. It won't focus.
We'll go backwards.
Look, backwards won't focus on them.
Oh well, if he says they're blurry, I can't help that. But anyway, you get the general idea. I'll talk to you later. Bye.